right, for quite some time I've been wanting to do this. JP Weiser's 22 versus JP Weiser's 23. They were released, I believe, a year apart from each other. I would have to do some research to figure out, well, I suppose I could do that. I suppose I could do some research. Okay, I tasted them both in 2021, one in January and one in March. So the 23 was the one I did first. That was in January of 2021, and the 22 was in March of 2021. So I'm guessing this may have been released in 2020, and this one in 2021, something like that. Or was it 2019 and 2020? Somewhere along those lines. I know that I probably had the bottles at home and unopened for a long time before I actually tasted them, because I had quite a lot of stockpiles of whiskey back in those days. But anyway, what I'm going to do is pour the 22-year-old which says here, port cask finish, 59.7% alcohol by volume. That's strong. And the 2020 and the 23-year-old. This is not a port cask finish, I don't think. This one is Canadian whiskey, rare cask strength blend, bottled at 64.3% alcohol by volume. Now, what kind of cask? Did it say there was a kind of cask on this one? Let's have a look. Return for refund. You won't get pregnant by drinking this. If you see the little label about there. There. It just says rare cask, but what else does it say? A bold and complex medley of aged corn and rye spice. Our first ever cask strength whiskey blend. That's a 23-year-old. The 23-year-old was, yeah, okay. Their first ever cask strength blend. And the other one was finished in port casks, or aged in port casks. Port cask finish. Okay, port cask finish. So they're similar in that way. I'm going to go for the 22 first, just because it's the weaker of the two. Smells delicious. I'm getting corn sweetness. I'm getting some dark fruits. I'm getting some rye spice. A bit of black licorice. This is lovely. My palate has been cleansed from the Macri Moore and the Lag Batch 1. I drank about a fair amount of water. Had some oat cakes. I still have a few oat cakes here for later. Because after this I might want to drink something else. Yeah. This is the port cask finish. Okay, here we go. Corn sweetness, rye spice, and port cask finish, giving some dark fruit influence. These bottles have been kicking around for a while. They've been open for a while. So they're oxidized. They should be at their peak right about now. Mm. Mm. Delicious, but astringent. I think it could use some water. Now, the 23-year-old. This one is even stronger. Wow. And this one is bottled at 64.3. It says cask strength blend, but it doesn't say anything about a finish. So we're talking straight up Canadian whiskey, some corn sweetness, maybe mingled with some rye spice. I will try it neat first, but I will probably end up adding some water. My mouth is still watering from the finish on the 22-year-old. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Corn sweetness and rye, spice, and astringent. Now what about the color of the two? The 22 is darker. You can see that right away, I think. Oh yeah, look at the difference. Big difference. This one doesn't have any wine or port finish, and that one, the 22, has the port cask finish. Now, what to do with this? I'm going to have to add some water. These are strong. I'm going to add 2 whole spoons to the 23 because it is 64%. I'm going to add a spoon and maybe a half to the 22-year-old and see what that does to it. Okay, I'm getting quite a bit of dark fruits now on the nose. Okay, I get the corn sweetness. I get the rye spice. I'm getting some dark fruits, some grapes, some prunes, grapes and prunes, raisins, dates, figs. All the while, there is the rye spice and corn sweetness, a little bit of caramel and vanilla. You know, the usual culprits. That is almost perfect. The port finish comes in. On the palate, I'm also getting corn husks, probably because a lot of it is corn whiskey, and finished with the port. That is nice. That is really nice. I think I dialed it in perfectly that time. It's just the right strength. Still a little bit astringent, but very good. This is going to get me wasted pretty quickly because they are high ABV. These will probably be my last whiskeys of the night. Unless a certain guest drops by, but I haven't heard anything from her in a while. She said she was probably going to get dropped off. But it looks like she's not going to show tonight. So I'll just finish up my third comparison video of two whiskeys. Okay. Corn sweetness, rye spice, vanilla, bit of a toffee note, butterscotch. Oh, some trails of large droplets. Sweet corn, spicy rye, toffee, butterscotch, vanilla. Now, I don't know which of the two I prefer. I kind of like it without the port. Corn husks on the nose too. And that's the 23-year-old. Corn husks on the nose. Vanilla. Corn sweetness. Yeah, that's dominated by the corn. That's a 22-year-old. 23-year-old, sorry. And the 22-year-old. Still quite astringent, the 23-year-old. Then there's the unmistakable fruitiness of the port, which I guess adds an extra dimension to the whole thing. Both of these are really fine examples of smooth Canadian whiskey and sweet Canadian whiskey once water has been added to them. I would not try to drink these without the addition of water. It's just too harsh. It's just too much. Too much alcohol. But with the right amount of water, they can be quite delicious. However, to be really brutally honest, I prefer Gooderham and Worts, the 49 Wellington and the 11 Souls, to these two. Hey, that's an idea. Maybe I should try those two next. Yeah. Oh, let's do it this way. Cheers.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Yeah.